I'm Peter Cooper Jr., the moderator of Charlton's town meeting. Town meeting is the forum for the citizens of the town to come together to discuss, debate, and ultimately vote on the issues important to the community, such as the town's bylaws, zoning, and budget. Town meeting is part of a wonderful New England tradition of neighbors coming together to decide what's important to them and has been happening in Charlton since its founding in 1755. I'm very proud to be a part of helping this tradition continue through to the present day. Charlton has an annual town meeting each year on the third Monday in May. This year's 2012 annual town meeting will occur on Monday, May 21st at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Charlton Middle School. In this video, I'm going to be reading through the warrant, which is the agenda, so that you will know what topics will be discussed and voted on at the meeting. And the warrant is posted to either of the constables of the town of Charlton in the county of Worcester. Greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby directed to notify the inhabitants of the town of Charlton qualified to vote in elections to meet in the Heritage School, Oxford Road, in Said Charlton on Saturday, May 5th, 2012 at 8 o'clock in the forenoon when the polls will be opened for the annual election of officers. After action is taken on Article 1 of this warrant, to meet again on Monday, May 21st, 2012, at 7 o'clock in the evening at the Charlton Middle School, Oxford Road, in said Charlton, for the purpose of taking actions on the remaining articles listed on the warrant, that the polls for the annual election of officers on Saturday, May 5th, 2012, will be closed at 8 o'clock in the evening, and that the remainder of this meeting on Monday, May 21st, 2012, will be adjourned at 11 o'clock in the evening unless voted otherwise by the registered voters present, and that the articles in this warrant shall be deemed part of the annual town meeting of the town of Charlton for the fiscal year 2013. Article 1 is the election, which has already happened on May 5th. Thank you to all those who voted. And that's sort of technically one part of the meeting, and then the rest of the meeting on May 21st. We'll start with Article 2, Town Reports. To see if the town will vote to accept the reports of its officers for the past year, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. There are town reports available where all of the various elected and appointed boards give a report which gets filed with the state and is for records. And so this article is to accept those reports as being the report of the town. Article 3, Notice of Town Meetings. To see if the town will direct the town meeting to be warned during the ensuing years as follows: by posting attested copies of the town warrant calling the meeting at each of the post offices, and posting like attested copies of the warrant, one in Dexter Memorial Hall, and one in the Charlton Municipal Offices, George C. McKinstry III building, in said town, 7 days at least before the time of holding of the annual town meeting, and 14 days at least before the time of holding a special town meeting, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So this is, much like it says, it's going to say notice of future town meetings is posted as it has been at the town hall, in the library, and at the post offices. Article 4, Litigation. To see what action the town will take in relation to prosecuting and defending actions or suits for and against the town, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So this authorizes our lawyer, town council, to take legal action on behalf of the town. Article 5, Sale of Tax Title Land. To see if the town will vote to authorize the selectmen to sell by public sale or sales from time to time, and convey by good and sufficient deed or deeds, in the name and on behalf of the town, and in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 3, and Chapter 30B, Section 16, if otherwise applicable, severally, or in groups of 2 or more, the lots, tracts, or parcels of land title to which was acquired by the town by deed of any individual or organization, or by deeds to it by the treasurer of the town pursuant to the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 60, Sections 79 and 80, or by foreclosure of tax lien, pursuant to the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 60, Section 65, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. This article authorizes the selectmen to sell excess land that was taken from non-payment of taxes to auction it off for the town. Article 6, Sale of Surplus Property. to see if the town will vote to authorize the selectmen or their designee to sell or otherwise dispose of surplus or obsolete personal property of the town, A, after first having advertised the same for sale in a daily newspaper of general circulation in the town at least 7 days before the date of such sale, and by posting a notice thereof in the Charlton Municipal Offices, George C. McKinstry III building, or B, where the estimated net value is $5,000 or more, by following the procedures required by Mass General Laws, Chapter 30B, Section 15, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So again, this allows for any surplus property that the town has. This authorizes the selectmen as part of the town to sell that property. Article 7, appointment of committees and filling of vacancies. To see if the town will authorize the selectmen to appoint any committee or committees for the ensuing year, and fill any vacancies that may occur on said committees, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. I think that's fairly self-explanatory. It's allowing the selectmen to appoint committees that they find necessary and fill vacancies on committees. Article 8, grant applications. To see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to apply for any state and federal grant programs that become available and expend any monies received or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So this allows the Board of Selectmen, if there's a federal grant or a state grant, to go ahead and apply for that grant, and then if the town gets it, to use the money that the grant gives us for its purposes. Article 9, appropriation of funds for unpaid bills of a prior fiscal year. To see if the town will vote to raise by taxation, transfer, or borrow and appropriate a sum or sums to accounts to be specified at the town meeting for payment of one or more prior fiscal year's bills not paid due to an insufficiency of appropriation or for any other reason, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So sometimes there are bills that come in after the prior fiscal year has closed, and so if there are any of those that come up, this article allows the town to pay those bills that were supposed to be for the prior fiscal year. Article 10, intra-departmental transfers for FY12. To see if the town will vote to transfer and appropriate sums to be specified at the annual town meeting within departmental accounts for one line item of such account to another line item or line items of such accounts for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2012, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So the town runs on a fiscal year basis from July 1st to June 30th, and the annual town meeting being in May is often the chance to get any last adjustments that need to come in between moving money between departments. Article 11, Town Budget. To see if the town will vote to raise, borrow, or transfer and appropriate such sums of money as may be necessary to defray the expenses of the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2012, and, as provided by General Laws, Chapter 41, Section 108, to fix the salaries and compensation of all elected officers of the town as set forth in the budget voted under this article, or as separately voted by the town under other articles of the warrant for this meeting, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So this is one of the main events is the town budget at the town meeting is going to be presented by the Finance Committee and get voted on. So this is the main budget for the town for the upcoming fiscal year beginning July 1st. Article 12, Water Department Budget Enterprise Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise by taxation, borrow, or transfer from available funds and appropriate to the Water Enterprise Fund such sums of money as may be necessary, together with revenue from Water Department operations, to defray the expenses of the Water Department for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2012, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So the Water Department runs on its own set of books. It's its own enterprise fund, and so Article 12 is for us to vote on and approve the budget for the Water Department. Article 13, Sewer Department Budget Enterprise Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise by taxation, borrow, or transfer from available funds and appropriate to the Sewer Enterprise Fund such sums of money as may be necessary together with revenue from sewer department operations, to defray the expenses of the sewer department.
That's okay, we'll just stop back up to 13 again.
Yeah.
All right, I got something to watch. You can stop whenever you want.
Article 13, Sewer Department Budget Enterprise Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise by taxation, borrow, or transfer from available funds, and appropriate to the Sewer Enterprise Fund such sums of money as may be necessary, together with revenue from sewer department operations, to defray the expenses of the sewer department for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2012, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. Similar to the water department budget, this is the sewer department. It's its own separate enterprise fund, and so Article 13 covers voting for the budget for the sewer department. Article 14, new and reauthorization of revolving funds. To see if the town, upon recommendation of the Board of Selectmen, will vote, as authorized by Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53, E and a half, to establish, reestablish the following revolving funds, and to authorize the official, commission, board, or committee specified in the first column to expend funds from the specified account without further appropriation, provided that the amount to be expended from such account in the fiscal year commencing this coming July 1st should not exceed the amount set forth in the fourth column, unless an additional amount or amounts are recommended by both the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee. There's a list of funds there. These generally allow boards which take in their own fees, for instance, from the water inspector or the gas inspector or the planning board to take in fees and then expend those fees for the purposes that they're for, without needing to come for further appropriation from town meeting. Article 15, transfer of funds to and from stabilization fund account. To see if the town will vote to add funds to and or transfer and appropriate sums from the stabilization fund account to an account or accounts to be determined at the town meeting, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. The stabilization fund account is essentially the town savings account. So this article allows us to be putting money into or take money out of that account as we need to. Article 16, capital items and related contracts. To see if the town will vote to raise by taxation, borrow, or transfer from available funds, including so-called free cash and funds previously appropriated to other uses, and appropriate a sum or sums to purchase capital items, and for service, repair, improvement, architectural, construction, renovation, improvement, and or other contracts relating to town buildings, facilities, and other property, and to authorize the Board of Selectmen, Chief Procurement Officer, or other appropriate town official, board, commission, or committee to enter into such contracts or leases, and to take other such action as may be necessary to effectuate the purposes of such votes, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So again, this article is for any needed capital expenses. Those recommendations from the Board of Selectmen or the Finance Committee will come before the town meeting to discuss and vote on what capital items should be purchased. Article 17, Cemetery Perpetual Care. To see if the town will vote to accept the sum of $10,230 as trust funds from individual persons, the income from each such sum to be used for the perpetual care of the Charlton cemeteries, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So this is allowing the town to take the monies that are given for use of the Charlton cemeteries and use them and keep them in trust for the perpetual care of those cemeteries. Article 18, Designing, Constructing, Originally Equipping, in addition to and renovation of Southern Worcester County Regional Vocational School District Building Project. To see if the town will approve the $73,722,405 borrowing authorized by the Southern Worcester County Regional Vocational School District for the purpose of paying costs of designing, constructing, originally equipping, and furnishing in addition to and renovation of the Bay Path Regional Vocational Technical High School located at 57 Old Mugget Hill Road, Charlton, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, this is the project, which school facility shall have an anticipated useful life as an educational facility for the instruction of school children of at least 50 years, and for which the district may be eligible for a school construction grant from the Massachusetts School Building Authority, MSBA, said amount to be expended at the direction of the School Building Committee. The MSBA's grant program is a non-entitlement discretionary program based on need, as determined by the MSBA, and any project costs the district incurs in excess of any grant approved by and received from the MSBA shall be the sole responsibility of the district and its member municipalities. Any grant that the district may receive from the MSBA for the project should not exceed the lesser of 67.41% of eligible approved project costs as determined by the MSBA, or 2, the total maximum grant amount determined by the MSBA, or take any action relative thereto or thereon. So again, this is part of the asking the town for approval of its portion of the costs for the Bay Path renovation. There was a debt exclusion question on the election ballot, which passed, which means that the borrowing would be in addition to the normal Prop 2.5 tax levy. And this is just for our towns to see if our town is approving its parts. Other towns are going to be voting on whether or not they want to approve their portions. Article 19, Acceptance of the Stretch Energy Code. To see if the town will vote to accept the Stretch Energy Code set forth in the Massachusetts Building Code and/or an appendix thereto, including amendments or modifications to such Stretch Energy Code, regulating the design and construction of buildings for the effective use of energy, a copy of which is on file with the town clerk, and to amend the Town of Charlton general bylaws if necessary or advisable to give effect to the foregoing vote, or take any other action relative thereto or thereon. So this article is seeing if the town would like to adopt building codes which are more energy efficient, and by doing so, the town would be eligible for more grant money if it became a green community. Article 20, Chapter 6, Section 172B and a half, Civil Fingerprinting License Bylaw. To see whether the town will vote, as authorized by Chapter 256 of the Acts of 2010, and incorporated into the Massachusetts General Laws as Chapter 6, Section 172B and a half, to amend the Town of Charlton general bylaws by adding thereto the following bylaw, such bylaw to be assigned such article number in the general bylaws as the town clerk determines appropriate, the Civil Fingerprinting License Bylaw. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll read the start of it. The police department shall, as authorized by Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 6, Section 172B and a half, conduct state and federal fingerprint-based criminal history checks for individuals applying for the following licenses: hawking and peddling or other door-to-door salespeople, manager of alcoholic beverage license, owner or operator of public conveyance, dealer of second-hand articles, pawn dealers, scrap metal dealers, hackney drivers, and ice cream truck vendors. And if I can summarize this is going to allow the police department to be running background checks on any people who are applying for these licenses. And then the licensing authority, which is usually the Board of Selectmen, would be able to use that information in determining whether or not the subject of the checks was suitable to have that license. The fee charged by the police department for the purpose of conducting the fingerprint-based criminal record background checks shall be $100. And it would take effect upon approval by the Attorney General of the bylaw. Article 21, Bay Path Road Land Transfer Affordable Housing. To see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen for and on behalf of the town, and upon such terms as the board deems advisable, A, to solicit or request proposals for the construction of affordable housing units on an unimproved town-owned parcel at Bay Path Road in Charlton, Massachusetts, Town Assessor's Map 38C1. B, to convey the property to the successful proposer for the construction of a 1 or 2 family affordable residence, hereinafter the residence, in return for such responder's construction of the residence and other consideration, and for the responder's sale of the residence to a first-time homebuyer. And C, to take any and all other action the board deems necessary or advisable, including but not limited to entering into an purchase and sale agreement or any other contracts in order to effectuate the purposes of the foregoing votes, or take any other action relative thereto or thereon. So this article will do is allow the town to convey this parcel to a proposal for affordable housing. I believe the Board of Selectmen are currently at this time going to recommend not proceeding with this article, but it is an item on the agenda to be discussed. Article 22, CDBG Grant App Authorization, Town Hall ADA Upgrades and Housing Rehab. To see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to apply for and administer a community development block grant in conjunction with the town of Leicester for improvements to the town hall and 2 housing rehabilitation projects in the town of Charlton, and to raise by taxation, borrow, or transfer and appropriate a sum to be used as matching funds to complete the aforementioned projects, or take any other action relative thereto or thereon. The Board of Selectmen are hoping to apply for this community development block grant for projects including some housing rehabilitation projects, ADA upgrades to the town hall, as well as some projects with the town of Leicester. The grant would require some matching funds from the town, so this article is seeing if the town would like to spend those matching funds in the case that we get this grant. Article 23, Acceptance of Sewer Line and Easement, Masonic Home Road. To see if the town will vote to authorize the Charlton Water and Sewer Commission for and on behalf of the town, and upon such terms as the Commission deems advisable, A, to accept conveyance for nominal consideration and by bill of sale from the Overlook Masonic Health Center Incorporated, formerly known as the Masonic Nursing Home Incorporated, and ownership of an 8-inch existing sewer extension or line located wholly within the boundaries of Route 31, also known as Masonic Home Road, and B, to take any and all other action the Commission deems necessary or advisable in order to effectuate the purposes of the foregoing vote, or take any other action relative thereto or thereon. So this is allowing the town to accept a sewer pipe from the Overlook to be owned by the town. Article 24, Acceptance of Water Line Bill of Sale and Easement, Northside Road. To see if the town will vote to authorize the Charlton Water and Sewer Commission for and on behalf of the town, and upon such terms as the Commission deems advisable, A, in accordance with the vote under Article 20 of the March 1st, 1999 Special Town Meeting, authorize the Commission, then known as the Charlton Water Commission, to establish a public water supply system and to enter into any contracts and take any and all other action which it deemed necessary or advisable for such purpose, pursuant to which the Commission entered into a May 17, 2008 release of claims and agreement with ExxonMobil Corporation, Exxon, to accept conveyance for nominal consideration and by bill of sale and or easement from Exxon and the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, Mass DOT, and or ownership of a certain now existing 12-inch diameter water line and related equipment and appurtenances located over the Massachusetts Turnpike, suspended beneath the underside of Northside Road Bridge in the town of Charlton. B, to accept an easement in the realty in which said water line, equipment, and appurtenances are located. C, to enter into any contract or contracts as may be required for the foregoing purposes, including any provision whereby the town would indemnify Mass DOT as the same. And D, to take any and all other action the Commission deems necessary or advisable in order to effectuate the purposes of or relating to the foregoing vote, or take any other action relative thereto or thereon. So again, this is similarly talking about this 12-inch pipe under Northside Road Bridge and allowing the town to take ownership or easement from it. Article 25, Water Betterment Special Legislation. to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to petition the General Court for special legislation as set forth below, provided, however, that the General Court may make clerical or editorial changes of form only to the bill, unless the Board of Selectmen approves amendments to the bill before enactment by the General Court, and that the Board of Selectmen is authorized to approve amendments which shall be within the scope of the general public objectives of the petition, or take any other action relative thereto. An act relative to the collection of estimated water assessments and general fund reimbursement in the town of Charlton. And rather than reading the whole act that we're wanting to have passed by the state legislature, I'll attempt to summarize it as allowing for estimated water assessments rather than waiting till the entire water project is done before enacting water assessments. This allows estimated water assessments which shall not exceed 50% of such estimated costs. The total of such estimated assessments allocated by the same method as will be used for allocation of the actual assessments upon completion of the work. And when the final costs of establishing, developing, and constructing such facilities have been determined, the town may assess and collect the actual water assessments. The revenues from the estimated assessments made on this section will be dedicated to the payment of establishing, developing, and constructing those facilities until all such costs and debt service obligations have been paid in full. Article 26, Deed in lieu of foreclosure. To see if the town will vote to accept, under Mass General Law, Chapter 60, Section 77C, a deed in lieu of foreclosure of the property described as 1.038 acres of land, more or less, with any buildings thereon, located and known as Lot 18, Brackett Hill Road, and shown on the Town of Charlton Assessor's records as parcel identifier 23-A-17.10, and being part of the premises recorded in Book 15-546 on page 196 in the Worcester Registry of Deeds, subject to a tax taking made against Mariah Development Corporation, CO Joe Curran, for unpaid 2008 real estate taxes and any subsequent taxes added thereto, dated November 6, 2008, and recorded with the Worcester Registry of Deeds, Book 43-536, page 373, or take any other action relative thereto or thereon. So this allows the town to accept this parcel of land for non-payment of taxes by taking the deed rather than going through the more costly foreclosure process. Article 27, Senior Tax Work-Off. To see if the town, having earlier voted under Article 8 of the warrant for the October 3, 2001 special town meeting, to accept the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 57, Section 5K, the statute, and to authorize the Board of Selectmen, pursuant to same, to establish a program allowing persons over the age of 60 to provide volunteer service so the town in return for reduction of such persons' real property tax obligations, will now vote further as authorized by Section 43 of Chapter 188 of the Act of 2010 amending the statute to allow an approved representative of any person who qualifies for the aforementioned reduction, but who is physically unable to provide such volunteer services, to do so on such person's behalf, all subject to the limitations in the statute, and in accordance with the Board of Selectmen's guidelines for the administration of this program, adopted on March 10, 2008, as amended from time to time, or take any other action relative thereto or thereon. So this is accepting a part of the Senior Tax Work-Off program that was enacted by the state in 2010. If we choose to accept it, it would allow an authorized representative of a person who could not physically do the work for the town to have this authorized representative do it instead to get the tax benefit. Article 28, Zoning Bylaw Diagnostic Review, Reformatting and Revisions. To see if the town will vote to amend the Charlton zoning bylaw by reformatting and revising parts of the bylaw identified by the Charlton Planning Board in its zoning bylaw diagnostic review, detailed as follows. And I'm not going to list all the changes. There's a variety of misspellings, typographical errors, some updates to some definitions, trying to clarify things. The full details of the bylaw changes are available from the Planning Board or from the Town Clerk's office. Article 29, Petition Zoning. Request that the May 2012 annual town meeting vote to amend the Town of Charlton zoning map by rezoning approximately 5.25 acres of the 140-acre parcel owned by Green Hill Realty Trust, located southerly of Route 20, Map 31, Block D, Parcel 4, from low-density residential R40 zoning designation to industrial general IG zoning designation, so as to designate the entire 140-acre parcel as uniformly within the industrial general zone. So this is a petition for this rezoning of 5.25 acres from this 140-acre parcel. Article 30, Petition General Bylaw. We, the undersigned registered voters of the Town of Charlton, hereby petition the Board of Selectmen to place the following article within the warrant agenda of the town meeting of May 21st, 2012, in accordance with Chapter 39, Section 10 of the Massachusetts General Laws. Town meeting directs the Board of Selectmen and other appropriate committees to amend the Charlton General Bylaw, Article 35, Junk, Old Metal, and Second-Hand Articles to govern the placement and maintenance of outdoor drop boxes in areas of public access for the purposes of maintaining safe and clean streets and sidewalks. Drop box shall mean any box, container, or device placed in an area of public access on a temporary or permanent basis, including devices designed to collect, distribute, or sell any item. Section 1, Prohibition. 4. No person shall keep a drop box designed to collect, distribute, or sell any item without a license issued by the Selectmen. Section 3, Rules, Regulations, and Restrictions. 3. Drop boxes should be properly maintained in a clean and neat condition and in good repair at all times. Drop boxes shall be emptied on a regular basis, at least monthly, to prevent overflow. 4. Drop boxes shall contain clear identification and phone number of the organization responsible. Drop boxes shall clearly state to donors the intended use of the donation. 5. Drop boxes shall only be permitted in areas zoned IG, Industrial General, or CV, Community Business, and shall be set back from property lot lines by a minimum of 15 feet. And so this warrant that was directed to the constables, you're directed to serve this warrant by posting attested copies thereof, one at each of the post offices, one in Dexter Memorial Hall, and one in the Charlton Municipal Offices, George C. McKinstry III Building, in said town, 7 days at least before the time and place of holding meeting. Hereof fail not, and make due returns of the warrant with your doings thereon to the town clerk at the time and place of holding meeting. Given under our hands this 27th day of April in the year of our Lord 2012, signed by the Board of Selectmen and posted as directed by Richard J. Fisk, the Constable of the Town of Charlton, on April 27th. So that concludes the items in the warrant listing what will be discussed at the upcoming town meeting. I would encourage everybody to come and be a part of the decisions facing our community. Everybody loves to complain about government, but in the Town of Charlton, you, the people, are the government. So again, the meeting is on Monday, May 21st, 2012, at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Charlton Middle School. I look forward to seeing you all there.